Well, I want to briefly consider the question, what happens when a Christian dies? In the New Testament, the predominant theme and statement is that a Christian doesn't die. He or she falls asleep in the Lord. Falling asleep is something we do most days of our life. We fall asleep in the evening and we waken up in the morning. But there's coming a time for the Christian when we'll fall asleep, but we'll not waken up to this world. We'll waken up to the glory of heaven. Christian falls asleep and wakens up in heaven. But here's a question. Does that sleep last until the return of Jesus Christ? Is that sleep something which lasts for a long time? Are we in some sort of suspended state and asleep until Christ returns? Well, the Bible's teaching is very clear. No, that's not the case. We die to this world and we waken up. Our souls waken in the presence of the Lord in glory. When the thief is dying on the cross, Jesus says to him, I tell you, this day you will be with me in paradise. When Jesus is speaking to the Sadducees who don't believe in a resurrection, Jesus quotes what God said to Moses. He said to Moses, I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He's not the God of the dead, but of the living. The strong teaching there is that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are still very much alive. At the Transfiguration, Jesus is joined by Moses and Elijah. They're not asleep. They're very much alive. In the story, and it is a story, not a parable, of the rich man and Lazarus, the rich man who had no faith, no true faith, he dies, and Lazarus, who's a beggar at his gate, who had true faith, he dies. They're both consciously aware of their states. The rich man is now in hell, and Lazarus is in heaven. They're very much conscious and aware. So aware is the rich man in his agony. He says, oh, send Lazarus to warn my brothers. Listen, warn your brothers while you're alive. And they have Moses and the prophets. Paul is grappling with his situation. He's really battling and he's knowing persecution. He says, I'd much rather depart this life and be with the Lord, which is far better than this. But convinced of my useful service, I know I will stay. No, when the Christian dies, the soul, the body is laid in the ground or it's consumed in the flames, but the soul has a conscious, real presence with the Lord until he returns. One day we will sleep to this world, but we will waken up to glory. And at the return of Jesus Christ, that's the resurrection of the body and soul reunited forever. This is a glorious teaching. It is almost too wonderful. And apart from that work of the Spirit, we'd never believe it, but it is wonderfully true. One day we'll sleep to this world and waken to glory. Have you trusted in the Lord Jesus Christ? Has he taken away your sin? Do you know that he lived and died and rose again for you? If so, that day will come when you'll fall asleep one day and waken not to this world and its troubles, but to the glory of heaven because of Christ.